Good everybody, Access Crasher, and welcome to the fourth video tutorial for modding Battle Station Specific. In this video we are going to deal with creating a new unit based on an existing model. You'll see something similar in version 3 from BSmodHQ, such as the Lupus and Porter class destroyers, as well as the 1945 modification of the Armament. So the first thing you need to do is to decide what model you're going to use. Now, for the simplicity of this video, we are going to use the Fletcher again. So the first thing, you'll have to extract the impact files for the unit if you don't have BSmodHQ version 3. So I'm just going to show you how to find out which files to extract. So if you can just go Universe, Library, and then this file here. You'll also find that in the G game on initialization impact file if you need to extract it, and then the contents will be like this. So all you need to do is to find Fletcher, and you'll see Fletcher will be class number 23, so you need to extract the class 23 impact file. Now, since everything's already extracted in this version, we can just jump in. The first thing, I'm just going to go to where the model file is. It's going to be under ships US, and I'm just going to search for the Fletcher model file. I already made a copy of it, so I'm just going to call it Super Fletcher. Okay, then you need to make a small modification to this file. If you wanted to have a different texture, like you'll see in BSmodHQ version 3, all of the Fletcher models have different textures depending on what the unit is. So all you need to do is you just need to get a hex editor and open it with that. You just find it here. Alright, just gotta browse it quickly. So let's just open it with this. Oh, I didn't select it. Not that one. I think it's being a bit spiteful. This one will do fine. So first you need to search for .tga, and you'll see there is Fletcher camo blue. So we just need to go to replace, you'll see it's called 01. I just need to double check something quickly. If I go to textures, it runs up number 3, so I have to make this number 4, because you can't add something, you can only change it on the hex editor. So I can't add something or take something away, it can only be substituted. Okay, and you'll see it has replaced it, so I just save. Okay, so now that is sorted out. Now the next step would be interface, textures, and then you'll see here is where the main picture is for the unit in the game when you select it at the start of a match as an unlock. So I'm just going to keep this like this for now, but you know where to change it. You'll find this on the GV main menu impact file. So if you have extracted the impact file for the unit, let's just show you. class 23. This file here is that small icon you see when you select the unit in game, so you can also go and change this and then just repack the impact afterwards. So just so you're aware of where to change that, but I'm not going to play around with that a lot right now. So that's basically the main thing you need to do to get the game to pick up your new unit in terms of the model. Now you just have to create a new texture for it quickly. You also see the impact file is referred to as a TGA file. Most of the textures are referred to in the code as a TGA, but it's a DDS in the real file. Okay, so here's the texture file for it. We're not going to play around with that. We're just going to leave it like that for now. So if you have any impacts, you can pack them now for the unit. Now we need to go and create our unit. Okay, for this we're going to edit the vehicle class file. Just going to have it minimize everything. So I'm just going to make a copy of the Fletcher file. That part there. I'm just going to paste it. Now obviously you need to give it a unique number for the vehicle class, and also that same number you have to make that the same number of your impact file for the unit. So I'm going to call this one unit number 960. So you also have to, when you pack the new one, just get the wrapper file here. I think I might have stored it on my bigger drive. Yeah, so no, that's not the right one. I've deleted it. Can you just re-extract it quickly? Okay, there. You're gonna pack the new one. I'm gonna call this thing number 960, and that can go into the battle station specific directory. Okay, so just get all this closed up so it's just a bit more organized. Okay, and this we're going to reference to that mod file, so we call it the Super Fletcher. And here we can give it the name that's going to display in game. You see data references to that SM file, so you can that you have in the impact file. There you can just go and change the name here and change the name there if you want a different one. So now we're going to go change the handling characteristics of this unit. So we're going to change the armor to a bit more. Let's make it 250. It's going to cost a bit more. And we're going to give it a little bit more mass, so it's just a bit more stable. Going to give it a little bit more acceleration than a normal Fletcher. Now for the speed, we just need to convert that right. So we need to convert to meters per second. And as always, the internet is bugging around, so I'm just gonna go get the value from a unit I know that has the speed, and that will be the Shimakaze, because I want 45 knots. So I'm just gonna copy that, because that's the meters per second speed for the unit. Okay, there you go. So I'm not going to change much of the other stuff except the speed with which it turns a bit. This is very delicate. Okay, the main thing we're going to change will be the armament. Generally your first platforms will be your main weaponry. You'll see there's your first turret. So 1 to 5 will be the main 5-inch guns. In the front 5-inch gun, I would like to make it a torpedo tube. So just to find out which one that is, just go back to the bullet device classes. Find out which one is the torpedo. I'm looking for the specific one. That's the triple launcher. Oh yeah, it is the triple launcher. It's number 63. I'm gonna make the front on that, and then the rear one. Now looking, here's the other torpedo tubes. Now I'm going to make it, replace them with 5-inch guns from the Atlanta. Okay, so here's those guns. Now, so we still have number 2, 3 and 4 left, which will be the second guns and one in the middle. I'm going to make these, this middle one, I'll also make that a 5-inch. And I'm going to create a special weapon just for the second and fourth one, the second one from each side. So I'm going to base it on that battery that you'll see in some of the maps. You'll see it on Iwo Jima as well as Road to Hawaii campaign map. So I'm going to make a copy of this. So if you want this and you don't have BSmodHQ version 3, you just need to get the model, effects, sound files, texture files, all that for this. And you can get that from the second last Japanese map. And I think it's the number 2 scene file. But for now we're just going to work with this as is, because this is already in the game folder. So you see generally this ammo doesn't make a difference. So I'm just going to make this gun reload a bit slower. Actually make it a bit faster because this is super unit, so let's make it 10 seconds. And also you'll see it's got a bullet number 26. So let's just go and see what bullet 26 does. You see this is the battery shell, and you can see it's quite powerful. So I would need to do something more in the line of the Yamato. So let's just see if we can find the bullet for the Armata. There we go, so that's bullet number 23. So let's make it bullet 23. Actually, we're not supposed to change all these things yet. We actually have to make a copy of it. Well, we did it. We just need to give it a different number. Let's make a number 220. Also, I want it to be a dual-purpose weapon, so it can also fire anti-aircraft shells. So I'm just going to make a copy of this. Name that number 2. And let's get a nice flak bullet. Somewhere is a good one. Let's just use the Akizuki one for now. That's bullet 14. Now, important to make it flak, we'll have to change that from light artillery to light artillery flak, so then it's a dual purpose weapon. So now we can go put device number 220 on the platform. Okay, just got to save everything. Now we're pretty much done with modifying the unit. But now still the unit won't pick up in game, so we need to make the game pick it up. So we go back here and we just give it a name. This is very important for if you want to use it in maps, because when you define the unit, you give it the name that is defined here, and that will link it to a vehicle class. So it's very important to do this part. And then we're just going to copy it, and then also there's going to be a vehicle class part just a bit down. The ship class part, we also just put it there. Okay, then we can save, and that's done. Now the unit still won't show in game as an unlock, so we just need to define that last little part where we set the unit as an unlock. Just going to copy the unlock code from another unit. And the first one that comes to mind is the Akizuki, so then just copy that. I'm just going to get that unlock part. That's only necessary if you want it to be unlocked under certain conditions. Okay, so now it will be an unlockable unit, but still the game needs to show it as a unit. So for this we're going to go to scripts, data tables, and then unit library. Okay, so we're just going to go, we have to find the allied ships part. We can just copy one of the units. Let's just find, there's the Fletcher. I keep forgetting this thing's number. 960. So just put it vehicle class 960. Super Fletcher. Part in the caps. Okay, and then you'll see there's the UL file that I showed you earlier. That's the big picture of the unit. English, it will be this line. You can just type the description. Just going to type simple one for example now. I'm just going to copy that to all of the lines and save it, and then you're ready to launch the game for the first time. Okay, everything seems to have worked so well so far because the game hasn't crashed. So let's just see if we view it. Okay, so there is Super Fletcher and there's one mean looking ship. Okay, so let's go and give it a test run. There you go. There's the Super Fletcher. So it's got these two long range guns, short range. These two guns in the middle where the torpedo tubes used to be were obviously not having much of an elevation because they were torpedo tubes, so you just need to go and modify their weapon elevation characteristics in the vehicle classes file. But other than that, this is a fully functional unit. Now let's quickly put it to the test. And there's the flag. It's got the torpedo tubes. And let's just see how it performs. Actually, for such a big gun, that flag explosion is a bit anticlimactic actually. So let's go do something about that quickly. Okay, so I'm just gonna go get a different bullet. I know the Akagi has a very nice flag explosion that I also used for the 1945 Yamato for the Beehive. So just go find that, just get the flag bullet for it, and it's number 500, so I'm just going to change that quickly, save that, and just to come back to this quickly, if we just go to the platforms, it's these that are, there's the torpedo tubes, so it's these two that you'll just have to go and change the windows for it, and these values are in radians, so you can just use a degree to radian converter to change that. But let's just go see what the result is in game. Okay, so let's just restart the mission quickly. Shot now. I see that's much better. And that's actually on par to what it should be. Now let's just go give it a run. See how it performs against this attacking plane. Accelerates quite quickly. 45 knots, it turns quite sharply. And let's just wait to teach these duties a lesson. You see, that's actually how simple it is to create a unit for battle station specific using an existing model. So it's not that difficult at all, you just need to know which files to find where and what to do. So let's just see how these duties go against these BR shells. Quite devastating. And the same method for weapon modification I used to create the 40mm Bofors flak. So I just took the physical model and copied it, just gave it a different bullet, which will be a flak bullet, and then you've got a new weapon. So just the same, I just created this new weapon. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and then next week we'll continue the video tutorial and we'll learn something new. So have fun.